by emailing jtarian@bucksportmaine.gov or calling 307-8030. Okay, our roll call, we have Christopher Johnson.
Here.
Linda Moore.
Here.
Stephen St. Peter.
Here.
Larry Wall.
Here.
Jennifer Tarian. I am here. All right, did you all have a chance to see the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes, I did.
I did, and I thought they were great.
Okay, nothing missing or, nope,
Not that I know of.
All right.
anyway.
so want to make a motion to approve those?
Okay,
So moved.
so,
Second.
Okay. A motion and a second, all in favor? Okay. And our standard list of discussion items, we have Oak Hill first. So the fence vendor update, Kevin, do you want to speak to that? I know.
Sure. Yeah, I haven't gone up, I wanna meet with him in person, cause I feel a phone call would not get the reaction or the stuff I wanna talk about, so I'm gonna set up in the coming weeks, a meeting with him or the owner to do
I was gonna say, who's him? You're
a Superior Fence.
Superior Fence
Yeah.
Manager, owner, whatever.
Frank Noyes.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
I don't know what it is. But I'd like to go see it and do an in-person meeting with him.
With
He was supposed to come down last fall? Sometime last spring or and did not show up. So, wanna go.
Were you saying that there were supposed to be a replacements that were part of the project for the future? Did I remember that correctly? Did
No.
someone, so there isn't anything on,
No,
on
there's
hand?
there was nothing that we got.
Okay,
The only thing I picked up before was some of the ones that, when it got broke in the wintertime, they came and redid some of it, and we picked up just a little bit, small pieces, but like I was telling Larry today, when I went up to take pictures of the tree being cut, there's pieces of chain out in the middle of the road. 3 or 4 sections of chain laying on McDonald Street, so there's new pieces broke off, so
okay.
people have been breaking it lately, I guess.
He had told us before he started that he would leave some extra in
Okay.
case,
Oh, okay.
in case someone's broke, which he didn't, obviously.
That must have, Larry must have been you who said that. So is there a concern, is it that easy to break, that people are breaking it?
The smaller chain, the inch and
Yeah.
a half, is sizably smaller, so it would, you know, I mean, if you go up and jump your foot on it, jump on it, it's probably gonna break. I mean, it's made to that way, so
Right,
it's not, but the thicker stuff does look more rugged, and, I mean, it's just got little clips. Some of them are bolted on, some have clips, S-clips, so something's gonna give anyway, whether it's the S-clip or the.
so
that,
is
but
there any surveillance cameras up there to, if someone were to,
I don't
break
think
them?
there is, unless there's some on your place up there, is it, Larry? No.
okay, just so I'd ask.
So right now, there are 6 sections that are broken. And I'm pretty sure that they were from vandalism.
right, because when we were there, when we did our visit for the tree, there weren't any broken ones.
So there was, let's see, it was last Thursday, I think. I noticed 5 sections. There was already 1 that was broken.
Right.
I happened to see Chief Winchester, and he went up. And there was a cell phone on the ground right near some of the broken fence. So, yeah, he's got a cell phone anyway. I don't know if that leads to anything. Anyway, right now there's 6 broken.
Madam Chair,
Mhm.
can I ask the folks here a couple questions? Thank you. I want to work through the chair. Are you aware, Jacob, of the issue with the vandalism up there, or the police being involved in a call up there? Has that come to your desk at all? Okay. My understanding too about the chain, about the links, that the bottom links around the perimeter were smaller than the upper strip. That was an original concern that we had about that. Why was that and that we were gonna have he was gonna have a look at it and have a discussion, but I think that's when he was supposed to come last time.
Right.
Because we weren't happy about the fact that there were two sizes there, and
Right.
we couldn't understand. He came back and did the side on your
He
property,
did that whole line between Wilson Hall and the cemetery
yeah,
with the 2-inch.
with a 2-inch on both sides, but he didn't for the, they didn't for
He
the
didn't
rest.
do
Yeah.
the other 3 sides.
Okay, thank you.
For the last meeting, I sent Jen, what did I say, it was 81 sections?
Yeah,
It
it's
had
in
the
our
inch and a half.
minutes, yeah. I put it there, you said 81,
So
which would be 1,600 feet of chain. And the cost of $878 was the estimate
Right.
if we needed to replace it,
Right,
if they won't. And with that, if they won't, is that what will happen, Jacob? Kevin will just go ahead and do it?
Is that with the large chain?
Yeah, with the
larger
yeah.
with it, that's the 2-inch, yes.
chain? Okay,
And that's figuring the S-clips too, to hook it on correctly to the, because technically it should have the S-clips where it bolts onto the, to the post, but some of them, they just put the chain through the bolt. And then they didn't have enough S-clips to put it on correctly, so it would sit there, so. But that's figured to fix it all the right way, so it's all uniform all the way around.
Yeah, that's to fix it the right way, but Kevin and I had talked about maybe just buying a roll of 2-inch and as
Right,
it was
as
broken,
it goes, you do it that way too.
repair it that way.
That would be on us to repair that then, right? At that point, that would be part of our maintenance. That you're talking about, we'd have a role in inventory and use that, whoever's assigned to fixing it, it wouldn't be through
Just
the
my
vendor.
thought, yeah.
But my understanding, maybe the RFP wasn't specific enough, who knows, but we didn't get what, I don't think what we expected to get, and that was installed. And we never talked about 2 separate link sizes, I don't believe it was ever
No.
submitted to us. So I'm not sure we got what we expected, and I'm not even gonna say we were promised, because there's no proof that we were promised anything.
It was pretty much all verbal.
Yeah. So it's disappointing to have this happen.
Mhm,
And
exactly.
it's disappointing to have to keep putting up with it. So for us, you know, I know this endowments can cover it, I assume it can, but it's a fair warning for the future businesses that we do.
Make sure we get documentation.
Yeah. And as far as, Madam Chair, may I continue?
Mhm.
As far as the future goes, in a cynical sense, I think we're very lucky that this is the only vandalism we're experiencing right now. My belief is that in conjunction with what Stephen said, is we need to put cameras up there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they need to go up there because we have them on the waterfront for reasons.
Mhm.
And I think we could put, and it's much easier now to have cameras installed with the solar gain. My son has those in his woodlot. And I think it's time to really look at that and take the warning of the chain links being broken as because they could go in next time and either pull the poles over or go in and start tipping stones.
Mhm.
We've had the problem with the stones out at Moulton. That cemetery at Oak Hill was vandalized back in 1995 and 1994.
Mhm.
And that, I think, helped start the project of that getting the committee, the cemetery committee at that time. You know, it looks so nice now, and I guess that's what draws vandals, when things look nice. But I really think that we should consider that purchasing and seeing if we can set up a system. I don't know if the police would be involved in that, or I don't know, but certainly it would. We have one at the Historical Society. We have a security system there that videos things. It just don't. I think it's a lot cheaper now than it was when they put that thing in that building.
Exactly.
So I ask the committee to consider that, if not right now, but for the future.
What would be the process, Jacob, for doing that?
Would be handled by our IT department in order to do that. Jim could, he could come up with a number of recommendations, whether it's a solar cellular camera, which I am guessing would probably be the easiest option and maybe the only option, I don't know. Or he could look at mounting something a little more formal than a cellular camera, but I'd be happy to have that conversation with him.
Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that's it on the fence?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, Madam Chair, my understanding, there have been some car break-ins in that neighborhood, what I've been told. And the police are interested in any video that they can find in that neighborhood. Now, I'm sure it's not specific to that street, but it is a concern that if that's going on, we don't know if they're gonna turn their attention across the street or down the
Exactly.
street to the cemetery. So the pattern, and I don't like talking about crime in Bucksport because there isn't a whole heck of a lot, but I just think that we need to, the chain link, and I saw it when I was up there, I saw where it had been broken off and scattered. Matter of fact, they took a couple pieces away, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, this is a fair
Disappeared.
warning right now. This is the easiest way we're gonna get out of vandalism, the cheapest way, which is no stones yet, no poles yet, so.
Right.
Mhm. And if we can get some security cameras up there and,
Might see somebody do something.
yeah, exactly, so,
But I gotta go to Bangor tomorrow, I'm gonna pick up some links to fix what I can on ones that are broken.
okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so the maple tree, it sounds like people know some things about that. Did you say that you could see, Jay was there today?
He was, and he was there taking pictures of the tree. Tuesday afternoon, and I just talked to him briefly, and he said he wanted to get started later on in the week. Well, of course, we had the rain for one day, and, but he was there this afternoon, not with his big truck, but he was getting in the lower branches.
Awesome.
So
Do you know any more about his plan?
Yeah, he called me today, he said he was gonna start, just like
Yeah.
she said, so. He called and said he was gonna start doing the bottom, and his chipper took it to the dealer on the rainy day, and then they took it apart on him and didn't put it back together when he went to pick it up, so. He was without his chipper, so he called me to ask if he could just leave the branches for a day or so till he gets his chipper back, so. That was what, I think he just was getting started, and that was slowed it down a little bit for that, but.
He did tell me, I talked to him as well, and he did tell me that he would have the brush cleaned up one way or another before the weekend.
Right.
Well, the big question too is that potential rotted center in the center, limb, whatever you wanna call it, that he was gonna be able to take a look at that, I understand.
Yeah,
And get back to us to see if it's more than we wanna.
I talked to him a little bit about that, and I'm not clear on what his proposal is there.
Yeah.
He did take a bunch of pictures and he sent them to me, and well, they're on my phone, it's in the truck.
We could spend a lot of money on something that's gone well beyond where it should, but then it's not gonna, no matter what you do, it's gonna be difficult up there because of the stones underneath, the
it's
stones
not-
all around,
it's
so it's
in a-
not
it's
like
in
you
a
can
bad
say,
position, sure.
this has gone too far, we gotta cut it down, well, no, you can't. I have to piece it down, no matter what.
Yeah.
But he was gonna, I think, let us know as soon as he got an idea of how bad that center rot section is, so. And maples rot in the center, that's pretty much what they do, they rot in
They do,
place.
The photo I saw that he took was quite concerning.
Larry, do you think that he plans to communicate more with you on that?
Well, I'm hoping he'll communicate more with Kevin.
He's been calling
Okay.
me quite often,
Okay. see. So we'll know soon.
Yep. As soon as I know, I'll let you guys know.
Thank you.
And I go by every day, so I can keep an eye out too, so.
Yeah, I live right there, I should be able to keep an eye on it.
You should
It's
be
helping
able,
out that the leaves are coming off, so you can see better in there too.
you should be able to climb the tree and get
It's
it
starting
good
to look at really well, so.
Yeah,
And pruning
Why
it
not?
out has opened it right up, I thought a lot today, just taking a few branches down, it looked good.
Around the bottom.
Bottom.
One other thing on Oak Hill,
Mhm.
Whitney's working stones as we speak. And she thinks it should be done this weekend.
Awesome.
Thank you.
She does a stellar work. I mean, I've seen it firsthand.
Did you say she'll be done by the end of this week?
She she
Weekend.
was hoping and pretty sure she'd be done this weekend.
Okay. So then the next topic is
Oh, boy.
917.
right.
Um. I'm not sure what the best way to proceed with that. We left it that maybe the town should reach out to make the, go ahead.
Madam Chair, we wanted to schedule a site review
Mm-hmm.
with the property owner at 917. So that, because some of the people here have not been up there to see the location where we identified the graveyard. By basically from seeing all these mounds in order. And there was one small stone, I believe, that was still there, that was a really small stone. So we believe we've identified the location where the cemetery was. We had discussed with Mr. Schwabi, I think his name is, about gaining access in there, maybe having to remove a few trees to get access in there to reset the stones that are now at the cemetery. That in itself, for me, is a project, just getting those stones up and moved, somehow mounted in there. But there's also the issue at that location of a right-of-way that extends from Route 15, and it's 2 rods wide, which is around 34, 35 feet. And it goes all the way back through that property, along that property line, to another property up and back. The question is, does that right-of-way encroach into the old cemetery location? And we haven't established that at this point, but if it does, is it legitimate to have a right-of-way go through a cemetery? We don't know that. We don't know if it is. So the first thing would be to get a site review plan. Secondly, I would think establishing where that property line is and measuring 35 feet from it and seeing if it crosses into that cemetery, and there's your answer. But even if it does, there was the idea of approaching Mr. Tim Jerome, who owns the right-of-way. Mr. Jerome owns the right-of-way, but he doesn't own the property that it covers across. He has right-of-way access. So the question is, how should we proceed with this? If we want to establish those stones back at that location, how do we go ahead, what sequence? So I'm thinking if we start with a site review, establish where that right-of-way might be. The only question would be, I know we found some posts up there, if I remember correctly. But I think there's a post on the boundary line, the south boundary line of the right-of-way. If we can find that post again and then measure back 35, 34 feet into the right-of-way property and see where that, if it meets up with the cemetery at any point, that should be okay at that point. But if it does get into the cemetery, fence are off, and I'm assuming there's legal issues at that point. So, but at least get another site review going. If the landowner, I would think the landowner would be fine. He was very cooperative, very nice man when we went the first time.
And I think I may not have fully conveyed that to you, Jacob, when I mentioned that because we had said that it would make sense to have Jay involved in the date to make sure that he or someone could be there.
Yep.
So is that something that you'll set up with him? Or
Is the intent for us to reach out to the right-of-way or the landowner?
The landowner for the site review. And then the right-of-way person is another gentleman lives on the town farm road, Mr. Jerome.
Okay.
His property's across from the town farm road from there, but it's like his house is here, but the right-of-way is coming off Route 15 up here. And it goes to a back property, I believe he owns the back property that it goes to.
Well, we're happy to reach out to whoever, and I would have Kevin, Kevin can plan to attend that site visit, and it would be appropriate for Jay to, attend it also. I think it's just a matter of when the committee wants to try and tackle that. I mean, we can make anything work on our end. It's, you know, there's 5 of you.
I just thought it might be a good idea to wait till the leaves are off the trees. I don't know why, but I just thought that might make it easier.
It's a good point, because you can see better.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
if you're doing line of sight.
Once you find those graves, there's no mistaking them. They're big humps in the ground. They're
Well,
all
if it's the
lined
same
right up.
spot I was at a few years ago, we were up there for days looking.
Wow,
Because
really?
we were in the wrong spot.
Oh, really?
I've already been there and done that too. It's been previous times with,
We did
Thought it was
brought
on
the
this-
guy in and did the
the sound thing and all
sound
that,
thing,
yeah.
and we cleared up the land.
Oh, yeah,
cut
and it
all the
was
brush.
not even close. That was that was between the church
Right,
foundation and the line.
Yeah.
The cemetery's up behind it, up behind the church foundation. And that line that we were
Yeah, 'cause
messing
the
around
property
with.
lines that all come together right
Yeah,
there.
and that's where that right of way is, right from the road all the way up through there. According to the charts from 1985.
Does that go off that guy's, the right of his driveway, or is it?
Yep.
So it's just the right of his driveway?
Right up, according to the
Yeah.
maps, right from the roads.
Yep, okay.
It's 2 rods from the corner post of the
Mhm.
neighbor, which includes his driveway, and it goes straight back, 2 rods all the way back,
Yeah.
which is around 34
We
feet.
found the church, and we did all kinds of walking around that way, but,
We thought for sure, we'd been told that the cemetery was on that side piece
Yeah.
where
right.
it wasn't.
No.
But we found it the second time, up back, but some of the folks here on this committee haven't been there to see it.
I've been there once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
And we also, Larry was there too, and we
Yeah.
also, talked about moving some of the smaller trees out of the way in
Yeah.
anticipation of getting to it. And trying to understand if the town, my thought was, I don't think Larry agrees, but that's okay. My thought was we need to get somebody who knows what they're doing, start moving slate stones off the review. I don't even anticipate this will happen this year, but if we can
So they
certainly.
all slate stones up the river?
No, not all of them, but many of them.
There's some,
Yeah.
They're all slate, I believe,
I think there's a couple granites there, out there.
even the small ones. My thought is to have that site review, have it take place as soon as possible, regardless of the leaves on trees. I think we can see
Yeah, they're all coming
See
off
good
there.
enough.
Site review, you mean? Yeah, okay, well, just, it's fine with me, it all depends on what everybody's schedule is, I just thought it might be easier to see
do
through.
it before the snow flies.
Right,
Mhm.
right. I mean, what would be the best, should we offer a couple dates? Should we say what we can't do? I mean, what's the best way to work around?
If you give us a couple of dates that work for everybody, we can reach out to the landowner and just give them a heads up. And like I said, on our end, we can make most anything work, so I'm not concerned about that.
I think the last time we had to make sure that we told the landowner we were coming.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And we gave him heads up and when.
Very nice man,
Yeah.
Yes,
he
he is.
really worked with us really a lot
Yeah,
that day,
we cut a
very,
lot, we cut a lot, we hauled stuff out,
Yeah.
shipped it, and
thank
did a
you.
lot for him to make a road up there, so. Yeah.
We
I'm glad
looked
we
at-
found it, that's good.
Well, we looked at the road, it went out around and then it looped back up in, and you could see, once we got figured out where that was, that's pretty much where the cemetery was at that point. But the right of way itself goes straight back, it doesn't deviate,
Well,
those 2 rods, it goes
Yeah.
straight back.
Back then it probably was a lane anyway, so it was.
Yeah, who knows, but
Right.
the last survey done is 1985, and it's on the drive. I've got it up there for people if they wanna see it. Any material that has to do with, that I know of, with 917's on the drive, so. and Rich has access to it. I'm sure you folks probably can get it too.
Okay. Does anyone have any specific days that are not gonna work? Cause in the
Thanksgiving
next
might be
couple weeks,
difficult.
in the
Yeah.
next couple weeks? Cause I can send out a couple
No.
of dates through an email if that
That's
works.
fine.
And people can
October
just check their
22nd, I
schedule.
can't do anything because I gotta be at the doctor's office.
The,
Yeah.
you know, just send it out there. We can,
Yep.
I mean, I've been up there, Larry's been up there, and Steven's been up there.
Yeah, I've been up there.
We've seen it.
Sounds good.
Next week looks pretty good. Yeah, after 15. Till the 20th.
Okay. And then, does anyone know anything new? I don't know if there is anything new to know on the Ginn Memorial, based on the update from last month. Do you have more information?
This is one reason why I wanted to have this meeting tonight rather than another 2 weeks.
Okay.
I had a pretty lengthy conversation with Elizabeth Snow from Penobscot. She's belongs to the DAR.
Mhm.
And without going into a lot of detail about the conversation, kind of agreed that the application for the stone ought to be submitted by, well, she said the Historical Society, but that won't work. It should be submitted by the town rather than the a relative. Jim Carter, who was a great grandson of this gentleman, sent us a completed application, Christ, seems like 3 years ago now. This has been going on for quite a while. But the expiration on the application is 2020, so.
Wow.
So I guess what I'm proposing is that the town submit an application for the stone, for the marker.
There isn't a stone there now.
There's no stone anywhere.
And where is this?
The stone would, the cemetery, I've looked and investigated, you know, where it would be, and all I can determine is it's possibly under the Hannaford's parking lot.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what we would like to do is put a memorial marker in Buck Cemetery for this gentleman.
Mm.
And you had mentioned last month that it was confirmed that it doesn't have to be submitted by
That's
a
correct.
relative.
It could be the town, it could be a civic organization,
And the other,
but it should be the town,
yeah,
because they're responsible for cemeteries and especially responsible for veterans.
Do you have that old application
I
that
do.
you're referring to?
there's a distinct difference though, because we don't know where the record is buried. We have all the other information of its life, but for some reason, we don't know. There's been farms and other things built in that location before Hannaford's been. So we wouldn't be requesting a cemetery, what's the word I'm looking for?
A gravestone.
Gravestone.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A gravestone, we would
Just a
be requesting a
memorial
memorial
stone.
stone.
Yeah, right.
Distinct difference between the two. And the place that, I don't know if we've ever had any rules about a cemetery. Who gets placed in there, who doesn't, does it have to go through the town council to approve an installation of a memorial stone in the Buck Cemetery? I don't know, but, that's the distinct difference. So it would be, I don't know if this gentleman he's from Presque Isle, right?
Correct.
Yeah, he was technically a relative, descendant. So he perhaps if you knew where, well, it wouldn't make any difference. If you don't know where the grave is, you don't know where the grave is, whether you're, yeah, so it would be a memorial stone. Those are the only distinct differences. Then the question is what gets put on the stone, so we could work on that, I guess, and supply that when time comes.
If you send us the information, we're happy to apply.
Should have all that right here.
Larry, does Elizabeth talk about an installation ceremony or anything?
Oh, yeah, thank you. She indicated that the DAR would do a ceremony and possibly have the Sons of the American Revolution there as well.
I remember, this is coming back to me now, why didn't it get applied for?
Because we had to make absolutely sure that there wasn't already a stone
I see.
for this gentleman.
But that's not a concern as long as it's a memorial stone, or we've done everything we can to say,
I've done everything I can
I don't
to
believe, I
locate.
mean, you.
Well, his wife is buried in Norrington. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
And we found no evidence of him being buried in Norrington with her next to her, whatever. Some folks checked in Orland, and we haven't heard anything back about him being involved. We have all his probate material, everything you ever wanted about probating the will and closing his everything, but nothing about where he was buried. It's really strange.
There was indication that he was buried in a small family plot in back of a house that was near Hannaford.
Part of the shipyard at one time.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then the other item next up is future maintenance and cemetery spending. So, we did have questions from the September meeting. Do you have a sense of what you can share with us on how that's gonna go moving forward? Or-
Remind me what the question.
Okay, I will get the question. Come on, you didn't memorize the questions and have a whole presentation ready for me? Okay, this was a summary of what the questions I think are. So the maintenance at Oak Hill, coming from the endowment, I think you have said that it does not. The maintenance at Oak Hill comes from the town budget, correct?
It's in this year, yes.
Okay, another question we had about that was, that's an annual, is it a bid?
Yes.
Okay, and when does that get posted again?
It would be early spring, I would say February or March. I'd have to look at the contract that we have with the current vendor.
When that runs out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanna say it's only good through the mowing season, but I need to double check that.
Okay. It came up just as a question, is there a volunteer mowing Silver Lake? Cemetery at Silver Lake?
Well, Silver Lake is an association, so whether they're paying somebody to mow that, I don't know. Last I knew, Kathy Downs was
She and
mowing,
her sister were out there.
Yeah. and they've been doing that for
Yes.
a little while anyways, I don't know how long.
They've hired some kids to come out this summer and to help
Yeah.
out, so.
But we don't have any.
But it's
we don't
completely
have any
separate.
oversight
Yep.
Of that.
Okay. The another question was the endowment fund, so this would be Oak Hill. Like how are those invested, or how much could be spent without depleting the endowment?
Well, the way that account, I've done some digging since a couple of meetings ago, so. way that that investment is made up is that there are essentially 5 funds, 5 different funds that make up that investment. One is a cemetery reserve, which I think is what has been pulled from historically for some of these projects. There's a Spofford fund, which is it's a fund that's available in circumstances for very poor people, is the only way it's the only way to describe it. It's a fund that's available when, you know, there are circumstances that come before us that don't necessarily qualify for general assistance. I don't think it's been used hardly at all, at least it never has since I've worked in the town. There's a ministerial fund, I'm not sure where that came from. And don't make fun of me for this, Mr. Johnson, there's a colonoscopy fund. It's got like $800 in it, but it's a part of this investment. And then there's the Oak Hill Burial Place Fund, and for each of those funds, there is a designated non-spendable principal amount.
That's what I've been wondering about, yeah.
And there is a undesignated interest amount that, you know, that can be utilized. So, Oak Hill itself, its designated principal amount is right around $77,000, and the interest amount right now is just shy of $7,000. So I wouldn't say that there's a ton of money to work with there. There's, I believe, 22,000 in the cemetery reserve that's undesignated.
Did you say 22?
Yeah. But yeah, so everything has a amount you can spend and an amount you can't spend. So
I have a question. Last year, we spent, what was it, $30,000? Was it 50? I can't remember right now off the top of my head.
I think it was 30.
It was 30 on the improvements to the cemetery, to Oak Hill. At that time, I believe you mentioned, because we thought it came out of the funds, out of the endowments. But you mentioned that the town had paid for it, but there was gonna be a drawback from it, from the account back into the town funds.
there should be, yes. The challenge that we're running into right now is that none of the finance director nor myself are actually on the account yet.
Okay.
We've been fighting with Wells Fargo in order to get us on there, and they will give us absolutely no information whatsoever.
Okay.
So Rachel has been working on that, but yes, it is supposed to, the intent there was that would be paid for.
And eventually it will be paid.
Yeah.
Well, if that happens, where are we with that 77,000?
Not gonna be much there.
We-
It's gonna have to come out of the cemetery reserve undesignated.
We had a number, Jacob, here a couple meetings ago, $141,000.
That
We almost
is-
fell out of our chair.
Yeah, and that was my mistake. That is what's in the total investment. That's
Okay.
everything. But that's those 5 accounts.
Yeah.
The total of the non-spendable amounts and the spendable amounts.
Okay.
Makes up that 140,000. So,
So we're looking at a $70,000
that's the principal amount.
principal.
77.
And the Spofford fund floats, it really doesn't have a set amount then? Because I think the Spofford's been used for a lot of funds in this history of this town, way back,
Yeah,
when he set it up.
right now the Spofford, the designated is the non-spendable is 35,000. And there isn't anything in the
Yeah.
spendable amount. So,
What's the total combined from the 5 for the spendable? You said there's 7,000 in the reserve, that's the majority of it?
so the spendable for cemetery trust is $20,699. The ministerial fund is $47.45. colonoscopy fund is $913. And then the Oak Hill expendable there is $6,950. I'm not sure what that totals, but it's what it is.
Well, it gives us a great idea of what our operating monies will be over the next year for maintenance and stuff. 'Cause I think most of our capital, show you, other than the tree, is pretty much done, with Whitney wrapping that up this week. But then again, you get into annual maintenance.
Question on the 141,000. That 30,000 that was spent last year still has to come out of that,
It needs to, it hasn't yet.
but it will.
Yeah.
And all these funds are in Wells Fargo?
That's great. That's great knowing all that. Because it's a different animal than all the other cemeteries, which I didn't wanna jump ahead on this. Which is, you know, how do we figure out, you know, we've had that discussion about cash being sent out to each one of these cemeteries and what happens to it, how's it tracked, and does it need to be tracked? What's the rationale? And you know, I think you sent out a memo from Roger Raymond saying how they came to these numbers back in 1995 or whatever. And the whole question about what was it based on? I'd heard it was from indigent lots that are still available for the town, and I hear it's based on number of veterans in the cemetery. Riverview doesn't get any, and Brookside out in near Dedham doesn't get any funds, which is fine. I mean, I'm just trying to understand how you come to a number now of $20,000 a year for budgets. It's just from historical basis, I guess, for cemeteries. And then the question is, how much does it really cost to take care of these cemeteries based upon labor cost and whatever? We've been promised that now for the last 3 years, that we would have that number. We've never seen it. How many hours are being devoted to, not necessarily each cemetery, but the aggregate? How many man hours are being spent on that, on cemetery maintenance, which really needs to be more than just mowing. If you look at some of these cemeteries, like, well, the Moulton Cemetery, we had to go do an after the fact repair on that because of the vandalism, but Page Cemetery needs new fencing and our upkeep. You know, it's gonna be an expense, no matter which way, unless we just say, don't want them.
All of them need stonework.
Yeah, that too. And of course, Lawrence Cemeteries doesn't have, Lanford Cemetery doesn't have the old raggedy fence that was there for a long time, that we took that out, we had it taken out. But then sometimes Luke says some of the rule about having a fence around some of these, so I'm not sure where that came from. I'm not disputing it, just trying to figure out all these rules and regs. Trees that are, you know, it's growing up. But I think I just would like to know how we came to, I'm not questioning whether $20,000 is a good idea or a bad idea. It maybe needs to be 40,000, needs to be 4,000, I don't know, but we should have a basis of how we're sending cash out to these cemetery associations or whatever, and be able to understand what it really costs to run cemeteries, because we run, 15, 17 of them in this town, are managed by the town, I believe. There are associations, 4 associations that we're sending money to as well. And I'm not against doing any of this. That's why when I mention some people that get upset thinking I'm against it, but I just think we ought to be able to justify what we're doing. I appreciate any help you can give myself. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. As far as the maintenance is concerned, I mean, that's something that I think you could come up with pretty easily, because Kevin did it for a long time, him and Jerry. They were really the two responsible for the mowing and string trimming, so. You know, I think that's one of the things that you're looking for, is a
It
real
is.
idea of.
We got it from Oak Hill by chance when 2 gentlemen were grousing about having to spend 11 hours each one. For 2 of them, it's 22 hours, and I threw in a number of $30 an hour counting benefits, and this is 4 or 5 years ago now. And that came up with about $600-700 every time you mow it in labor costs.
Yeah.
It's just a wild guess, you know.
Yeah.
But I thought there's gotta be a better way that it can be managed as far as budget goes.
They all act different, every cemetery is a different.
Yeah.
I was one of the guys on the 11 hours, so.
Thank you, you did a great job.
I'm one, so.
Oh.
You
But
did a
yeah,
great
but,
job.
everyone's different, so it's hard to.
And see,
hard to-
Oak Hill has its own numbers now, so that makes it easy for that. That's
Right.
why we've tackled that to begin with.
Yeah.
Plus, it's the most prevalent, the obvious one
Like
in town.
Molten, for instance, Molten, we go out and make a conscious effort to, when we know to mow, it would take us an hour and a half to mow, whatever, we'd spend a half an hour cutting branches.
Yeah.
And try to get the site of it from the road in,
Thank you.
so that we could, and we have another cemetery now in front of that one,
Mhm.
private one, that the guy put in for his brothers. They're
I'm
both
not
there.
aware of that, I haven't seen
No.
that.
There's a brand new one out there.
And see,
Oh
all
my
those,
God.
that fencing around Moulton out there is all pipe. if I
Yep,
remember,
right.
And that's in need of something.
Yeah.
And the gentleman, when they vandalized the stones, the gentleman out there did a great job of reporting of that, brought in the booklet, the catalog that he had put together. Did a wonderful job on the Moulton Cemetery. So we have a lot of history there, but each one of those cemeteries, whether it's Lawrence or Lanford,
Right.
you and I found the one, what was it, Eldridge Cemetery out
Yeah.
there, up in the woods, and, there's, you can't get it all done at once. But certainly you can make an effort and put it down on a piece of paper, this is our goals and objectives, and how much we figure it's
We
gonna
went,
cost.
me and Jerry went what from before too, we spent some time and tried to find all of them, and unsuccessful in a few.
It's only one I haven't visited, it's the Cottle one up there on the McKinnon Road, out behind the gentleman's house up there. A lot of those little family plots that are around, and, but again, the other issue is veterans.
Right.
Is there a good reference of veterans? I've tried to reach out to them from my historical society hat. Haven't always been successful, but just trying to find all the is there a list for veterans? Because right now, the markers are the way they go around and place flags.
Yes.
So, but I found a flag on my lot this year for, my father was in World War II. There was a Vietnam vet flag put in as well as his from World War II. And so I'm thinking, we've gotta come up with a better plan. There's gotta be a good list for everybody and have it updated by the town or whatever.
Could we ask the person who sent us this update, who sent you the update on the American Legion?
It's,
Oh, yeah, with the flags.
Would that be the right person to try to see if they're,
they handle it, even if they have a list, they would be the ones that
I've got all that information in the past, again, up on the drive. Everything that's doing with cemeteries, I put in a cemetery folder, anything. The only group I haven't got, the only records are up here, upstairs. And I just haven't had a chance to get in there. But I think most of what's upstairs, we already have a list of all the veterans and all that. But it's the current veterans. Many of these lists were made in 1990s. Now, from 1990s on, I don't know. I'm sure we could get it if we, with the Veterans Administration or whoever. But it would be nice to have all that in place. Because sooner or later, I think other than one cemetery, the town's gonna end up having to maintain them all. Because the funds are just not there, and everybody I've talked to is like me, is 108 years old. And there's nobody young coming up to manage these things. That's enough of my talking.
just to clarify, the maintenance for Oak Hill and for the associations, all the cemeteries, is coming from the local budget.
But Oak Hill will be reimbursed, right?
No,
Just
that's what we were,
The project from last year.
right, the project, yes, but not the general not the mowing and
Okay.
maintenance, those are coming from the town.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because we talked about, we asked that last month,
know.
that's why I was clarifying, because, as Jacob had said, that money would just be depleted too quickly if we were paying for all of those costs.
Well, according to him, we're getting $7,000 a year in interest from the investments.
Well, that's what's in there right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying you're getting that every year, but
And that's the only amount that can only be spent at Oak Hill, the others could be spent, or this is all only Oak Hill. Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. What I know is that on the bank statement itself, it's the Oak Hill, what is it? Oak Hill Burial Place, that's what's on here. And I asked the former town manager about it, and this was all invested prior to her dying, goes
Yeah.
back long
Yeah,
time,
it
she
does.
didn't have a ton of information on it either. And within the audit, those are the 5 different sub-accounts that make up that investment.
So it's all for Oak Hill
Missing one
as
of
well,
the
as much as
funds.
you understand.
As much as I understand.
Okay.
I think it's great what you provide. We've been hoping for that for a long time. It's really nice to have.
Okay, we're running short on time, but the one thing I did wanna mention is, I just referenced that I did share with you all the American Legion update that came as far as number of flags they replaced and that they've removed the flags and identified or replaced an additional 22 veteran grave markers. And they listed the cemeteries they were at, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Thank you for sharing those. I'd
Sure.
really like us to work closer with them. I've reached out to them a couple times, but they're busy.
Yep.
It's on me, so nobody wants to meet with me anyhow.
I don't think it's
I'm in it
personal.
with you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, does anyone else have anything that's not on the agenda for discussion?
Nope.
I had a question.
Okay.
Did we ever make a decision on what to do with the 2 pieces of the Hatch gravestone?
No decision.
It's a can being kicked down the road every month. You're right.
I
It
know.
didn't even make it on the agenda.
Yeah.
So we need to put that back. I was gonna ask if there's anything to put on it, so we'll go, but we'll revisit Hatch.
Yes, yeah, I would like that.
We've established the 2 locations of the hatch pieces.
Yes.
The question was there a new stone set in a previous location? And we hadn't really pursued that to find out whether a hatch was buried in, we thought he might be buried at home. Maybe this was a stone that had been broke, we don't know, just didn't know, that's where we left it.
I'll
But I'm
try
not-
and do
Yeah, well, I'm
some
not sure what the
research
next
on it.
steps
Yeah,
are.
some more. Yeah.
Keep looking, I guess.
Right,
I'll
but
tell you what, let me know, we'll go out and take a look. I'll contact the folks in Holland and see if they can identify that. I don't have any information from them.
no,
Whitney did a little bit of research on it, but she didn't come up with anything.
That's right, I remember that.
I've tried to do some research through the genealogy of
Piece
just
of
the
the
name
stone
in Bucksport.
The town garage, another piece of the stone in the parking lot across from the Catholic Church.
That's
We're
right.
trying to figure
Yeah.
out how this all happened and where Mr. Hatch is located.
Yeah.
Was there a new stone? Have we lost it? You know, just trying to come to an understanding.
Anything else?
Oh, do we meet again at a regular time? Madam
Well-
Chair?
Are we okay with the second Thursday of next month?
Yeah,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, you guys wanna come, you said we couldn't meet on Thanksgiving.
The second times.
oh,
Thanksgiving's all.
No, it must be
We had one for October.
Thanksgiving.
The second week, not the, I meant the second meeting. I did mean Thanksgiving.
We
The
had
second-
scheduled an October meeting and we moved this one up
We
2
did.
weeks. Do we meet 2 weeks from tonight? That's my question.
What if we do the second week of December, the first meeting?
And
Let me
November.
tell you an actual date. No, November is I think it's too soon.
okay.
Do you think?
What, November?
Should be a month
First-
from now.
If we stick with the beginning of, stay on the beginning of the month. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it'll be
you're,
a month.
you're suggesting the 13th?
13th of November?
That's the first council meeting in November.
I'm good. I'm good.
Mhm.
We will plan for 5 o'clock on November 13th.
Okay,
All right.
Great, thank you.
A motion to adjourn?
So moved.
yep. Third,
First, okay.
I think.